Welcome to Japanese Phrases for a Week in Japan course. My name is Vivian. This course is created for absolute beginners, which means you do not need to have any prior knowledge. Japan is a country of beauty, mystics, and traditions. If you are planning to go to Japan for the first time, I suggest you to book a week. The reason is, each region is different, and having a week time will help you to maximize your travel experience and get to taste different things in terms of food, fashion, culture, people, etc. During your trip, it is likely that you will find some English sign to help you to find the right place you want to go. However, overall, you will get very minimal help during your trip. That is why I created this course, so you can feel more prepared before you go to Japan and speak some Japanese phrases to get by. I highly recommend you to take this course before you leave because there are some things you want to prepare before you leave, such as a JR pass. That is something better to be obtained or only to be obtained when you are outside of Japan. All the course slides are downloadable in PDF forms, which means you can bring them during your trip. If you forget of some phrases, most likely will happen, you can pull them out and show it to the Japanese speakers. This will help you a lot when you are in the non-Wi-Fi zone. So, what are you waiting for? Let's start the journey. Section 2 is all about the day you arrive in Japan. There are phrases that help you get through the immigration area free of stress. There are also phrases that help you to do the proper check-in, so you can really relax and prepare for the second day. Lecture 1. 9 Useful Phrases. This course is for complete beginners. You will see all the following slides indicated in Japanese, Romaji, which is a pronunciation for Japanese, and English. The 9 phrases are very useful throughout your trip. Once you master them, they will be very helpful for you in any situation. Now, let's move on to the first one. 英語はできますか? The alphabet underneath is the Romaji. 英語はできますか? So when you connect them, 英語はできますか? Do you speak English? トイレはどこですか? The Romaji. トイレはどこですか? So when you connect them together, トイレはどこですか? Where is the washroom? The third. A place に行きたいです。A place. Now, let's look at the Romaji. A place に行きたいです。So when you connect them together, a place に行きたいです。I want to go to a place. Number 4. すみません。よくわかりません。The Romaji. すみません。よくわかりません。When you connect them together. すみません。よくわかりません。I'm sorry, I don't understand. Number 5. Somewhere から来ました。The Romaji. Somewhere から来ました。So when you connect them together, somewhere から来ました。I came from a place. Number 6. Something は使えますか? Romaji. Something は使えますか? So when you connect them together, something は 使えますか? Can I use? This is very good to use at the restaurant. In Japan, not all the restaurants allow you to use a credit card. But if you go to a big one, usually you will see the credit card option. But just to be on the safe side, when you want to use a credit card, you can ask them, クレジットカードは使えますか? クレジットカード This is credit card. Something はどこですか? Roman G. Something はどこですか? Connect them together. Something はどこですか? Where is something? Wi-Fi はありますか? Roman G. Wi-Fi はありますか? So when you connect them together, Wi-Fi はありますか? Do you have Wi-Fi here? 電話をかけたいです. The Roman G. 電話をかけたいです. So when you connect them together, 電話をかけたいです. I want to make a call. Throughout the phrases, you probably have noticed there are Roman G indicated in R. For example, あります. Wi-Fi はありますか? Wi-Fi はありますか? If you were to read the Roman G as the English indicates, it would be Wi-Fi はありますか? In the Japanese Roman G, the R is actually read as L, so it's ありますか? This is something that we need to remember. Lecture 2. Going through the immigration at the airport. Here are the potential phrases that you will be asked and the phrases you wanted to answer in Japanese. Now, the first one. この列に並んでください. The Roman G. この列に並んでください. So when you connect them together, この列に並んでください. Please wait in this line. この列 this line に並んでください. Please wait. This will be very helpful when you just arrive at the immigration area. They will ask you to go in certain line. For example, if you are a foreigner on a visiting visa, you'll go to the foreigner side. But if you're returning to Japan, you'll go to a different line. So this phrase might be the first one you ever hear at a Japanese airport. The second one. 入国カードは記入しましたか? Now, the Roman G. 入国カードは記入しましたか? So when you connect them together, 入国カードは記入しましたか? Did you fill in the immigration card? You will see the hyphen throughout the Roman G. This is my indication of elongate the sound. For example, 入国カードは There are two hyphens, one after the new, the other one after the ka. If you don't see the hyphen, it'll be read like 入国カードは. But because of the hyphen, you need to elongate the sound. For example, here, 入 the u sound, ka the a sound. So it becomes 入国カードは. The elongation of sound are very important in Japanese. If you don't elongate the sound, it will be a complete different vocabulary or a word that doesn't exist in Japanese. So when you see the hyphen, remember you need to elongate the sound. パスポートを見せてください. The Roman G. パスポートを見せてください。Now connect them together. パスポートを見せてください。Please show me your passport. This is a very common phrase that you'll be asked at the immigration area. So have your passport ready, and when they say this phrase, you can show them your passport. Now, the next one. 個人旅行ですか？ローマ字。個人旅行ですか？ Connect them together. 個人旅行ですか？ The next one. 団体旅行ですか？ローマ字。団体旅行ですか？ Connect them together. 団体旅行ですか？ So the first one is asking, are you traveling independently? And the second one is, are you traveling with a group? The difference is really the first vocabulary. 個人 and 団体. 個人 means individual. 団体 means group. So literally, individual travel or group travel. Now, the next slide. はい、一人です。ローマ字。はい、一人です。Connect them together. はい、一人です。It means I am by myself, one person. The following phrase is 妻と子供がいます。ローマ字。妻と子供がいます。Now, we connect them together. 妻と子供がいます。I have a wife and a child. This will be the answer to the officer when he asks, are you traveling on your own or with someone else? These are really common answers, so remember them to enjoy your trip in Japan. 旅行の目的は何ですか？ローマ字。旅行の目的は何ですか？ Connect them together. 旅行の目的は何ですか？ What is the purpose of your trip? Here are your answers. 観光です。ローマ字。観光です。Connect them together. 観光です。Or ビジネスです。ローマ字。ビジネスです。Connect them together. ビジネスです。Sightseeing is 観光です。The first one. Business is ビジネスです。The second one. 日本には何日間滞在しますか？ローマ字。日本には何日間滞在しますか？ Connect them together. 日本には何日間滞在しますか？ How many days are you staying in Japan? Here's your answer. 7日間です。ローマ字。7日間です。Connect them together. 7日間です。7 days. I have made a list from 1 day to 10 days, and I will read them to you one by one. Here they are. 1 day. 1日間 2 days. 2日間 3 days. 3日間 4 days. 4日間 5 days. 5日間 6 days. 6日間 7 days. 7日間 8 days. 8日間 9 days. 9日間 10 days. 10日間 In Japanese, the counters for certain things and then the numbers are quite different. For example, 1 to 10 in Japanese are usually 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10. But here, it's 1日間、2日間、3日間, completely different. The only way for a learner to remember is to practice them and really go through the slides over and over. Even nowadays, some Japanese people still make the mistakes if they're using a very unique counter. 日本は初めてですか? Romaji. 日本は初めてですか? Now, connect them together. 日本は初めてですか? Is it the first time you enter Japan? Now, the last slide in this lecture. どこに滞在しますか? Now, the Romaji. どこに滞在しますか? Connect them together. どこに滞在しますか? Where are you staying? I hope you will look at those phrases over and over before you depart for Japan. They will be very helpful when you are going through the immigration area. Feel confident and know that if the words comes, ask them. 英語はできますか? Do you speak English? They will most likely have a translator for you. Thank you for having watched this far. I hope you have learned some phrases and get some new perspectives. Now, I have a favor to ask. Please click leave a rating above and leave a rating and your opinions for the reviews. I am a new teacher on Udemy, so all the reviews and opinions count. I want to make videos that really help my students. That is why I read every review and consider the suggestions. Please take a minute and leave a rating above. Thank you. Lecture 3. This is a special lecture regarding COVID-19. There are some procedures you may take at the immigration area which was not there before the COVID-19 times. So I will introduce you to some of the phrases and the words. You don't have to memorize them because they do have documents in English, Mandarin, and Korean, so you can choose one that works in your language. But in order to show you what you will expect, I will give you some example of the procedures the Japanese immigration are taking. The first slide is the quarantine documents. There are 2 quarantine documents usually needed at the immigration border. First one is a questionnaire, 質問票. The second one is the health card, 健康カード. Please don't worry about the Japanese now. I will just go through the system with you so you know what to expect when you arrive in Japan. For the 質問票, the questionnaire, there are several questions. I've taken the most common 4, so you can get a sense of what will be asked at the border. 過去14日以内で発熱や咳などの症状がある人との接触がありましたか? Have you had any contact with people with symptoms such as fever or cough in the past 14 days? 過去14日以内に感染した患者と接触していますか? 可能性がありますか? Have you had any contact with infected patients in the past 14 days or people who might have it? 過去14日以内で発熱や咳などの症状がありましたか? Have you had any symptoms such as fever, cough in the past 14 days? 公共交通機関を使用せず移動する方法を確保していますか? Do you have a way to get around without using public transport? All the questions are presented on a piece of paper, so please do not worry about the Japanese for now. Just know these are the type of questions that will be asked at the border. The last one, where they ask you about using the public transport, this one applies if you answered yes to the previous questions, like you got in contact with people who have the symptoms or yourself have the symptoms. The idea is they want less contact from you, the better. So if you answer yes to the previous questions, you probably wanted to find a way to, go around in Japan without using their public transport, which means you may rent a car or, talk to the people there and have very cautious procedures with the car while you're renting them. Now, the Kenko card, health card. Same idea. I'll show you what are the items on the card, but you don't have to worry about the Japanese. There are items about your health condition. 健康状態を毎日チェック。You have to really check your health every day. They want you to check your temperature for fever every day and make sure that you do not have any symptoms like a severe cough or hard to breathe, that type of thing. They also want you to pay attention to people close to you. And items like if you do have any cough or fever, and then you have to make sure you wear a mask and do your best not to infect other people. And you want to call the center where they deal with people who have such symptoms and tell them where you're staying, and they will tell you where to go for inspections and thorough check. Also, if you're staying with your family during the time in Japan, there are 3 items the Japanese really want you to follow, which we actually do follow in Japan. First thing is wash your hands thorough and frequently throughout the day. And the second is have enough sleep and take your vitamin and make sure that you have good nutrition. A third is if one of your family member has become ill, you have to wear mask and also ask the family member wearing mask. And make sure you don't get in contact with other people. The less, the better. Lecture 4. Get into a hotel. This is all about transportation. And there are 3 types of ways usually you can get to your hotel. First one, taxi. Second, train, 電車. The third is a bus. Usually a shuttle bus at the airport. Here are the possible phrases you want to use so you can secure the transportation. First one, taxi. Somewhere までにお願いします。ローマ字。Somewhere までにお願いします。Connect them together. Somewhere までにお願いします。To a place, please. Usually with the circles, you can insert your hotel and tell them to get you to the hotel. For example, Prince Hotel. Prince Hotel までにお願いします。So this is how you connect the sentence. The next phrase. 高速道路を取りますか？ローマ字。高速道路を取りますか？ Connect them together. 高速道路を取りますか？ Do you prefer to take the highway? In Tokyo or Osaka, major cities, in order to avoid the traffic, there are highways that a taxi driver can choose to take. However, most of the highways require you to pay extra fees. So usually when you get in a car, the taxi driver will ask you, do you want to go the highway or you want to do the regular way? Sometimes, while the regular way may take you about 30 to 40 minutes to your hotel, the highway can take around 10 to 20 minutes. It really reduces the time. So depend on whether you're in a hurry or you want to get to a hotel faster or not. You can always tell them, yes, I want to use the highway, or no, I'm fine with the regular way. They will also tell you that when you pay at the end, the highway will be extra fees. If you're okay with it, we will take the highway. So if you do not want to pay the extra, you can always say, you know what? I'm fine with the regular way, which is our next phrase. 急いでいないので、普通の道路でいいです。Now the Romaji. 急いでいないので、普通の道路でいいです。Now connect them together. 急いでいないので、普通の道路でいいです。Now, in terms of the pronunciation, there is one more thing I want to point out. Please take a look at the Romaji. The last one, いいです, the very last phrase. There are two I repeated here. This means elongate the sound of E. So, if there's only one I, いいです. But there are two, so いいです. You probably have already noticed when I was reading the phrases that if the sentence ends with です, you don't pronounce it as です, but です. So it's almost like a very silent S in the end. Now, the next one is about train, which is the densha or subway, as you may call. 切符売り場はどこですか? The Romaji. 切符売り場はどこですか? Now connect them together. 切符売り場はどこですか? Where do I buy a ticket? I've been to all the major airports in Japan. Usually there are 2 in Tokyo, 1 in Osaka. And it can be very tricky to actually find the place to buy ticket. I mean, any ticket, not just a train, but also a bus ticket, or even find a place to take a taxi. So you really wanted to remember this phrase when you are looking for the ticket sales area. The next one is 片道ですか? Romaji. 片道ですか? Connect them together. 片道ですか? One-way ticket. 往復ですか? Romaji. 往復ですか? Now connect them together. 往復ですか? Or round ticket. Now, the next one. 乗り換えるのですか? Romaji. 乗り換えるのですか? Now, connect them together. 乗り換えるのですか? Do I need to transfer? If you stay in Tokyo or major cities, most likely you will transfer at some point. And you want to make sure first that you do transfer, and second, where do you transfer? Nowadays, we use Google Map and it really shows where you want to transfer and at what time and when, even shows how much the ticket is in Japan. But if you're staying in a major city, there are a lot of trains. So if, unfortunately, you got on the wrong one, you will most likely miss the schedule as indicated on your Google Map. So if that happens, you can always get out at the station and ask the staff working at the station, how do I get back to, the place? 何番線から出ますか? Romaji. 何番線から出ますか? Now connect them together. 何番線から出ますか? Which platform does it depart? You will use this phrase for sure in Tokyo. It's very complicated. Actually not just in Tokyo, any major city in Japan. Because there are so many platforms, and sometimes platform 1 hosts multiple trains. So first you have to make sure which train you are taking, and then which platform you are taking at what time. Otherwise, you will for sure miss the train. So very important. 何番線 which platform? Now, let's look at the bus. Somewhere 雪のバスはどこですか? Roman G. Somewhere 雪のバスはどこですか? Now connect them together. Somewhere 雪のバスはどこですか? Where is the bus that goes to the place? When you are taking a shuttle bus at the airport, most likely they're not going straight to the hotel you booked, but they're going to the area close to the hotel you booked. For example, if you're right in Tokyo, let's say your hotel is in the area called Shibuya, then the shuttle bus will be most likely labeled as Shibuya Yuki, which means going to Shibuya. So let's say if you are really going to Shibuya, what will this sentence sound like? 渋谷行きのバスはどこですか? ここで降ります。Roman G. ここで降ります。Connect them together. ここで降ります。I get off here. Lecture 5. Checking in at your hotel. Here are the phrases that you will use during the check-in procedures. I worked at a Japanese hotel before, so I know how the procedures are. And usually, if you are staying at a nice hotel, they do have staff who speak English or the language that you are familiar with. First, when you arrive in the hotel, you can say, チェックインをお願いします。Roman G. チェックインをお願いします。Now connect them together. チェックインをお願いします。As for the pronunciation, here is another thing that you want to pay attention to. It's the check-in. C-H-E-K-K-U. 2K means you have to make this small jump. Check. This in Japanese is called the small tsu. If you know how to read katakana, you'll see the check-in has a small tsu, and that's where you will place the 2K here. Now, we'll do the example of a name. Name で予約しました。Roman G. Name で予約しました。Now connect them together. Name で予約しました。I reserved under the name of. Foreigners have a very different name, so it's not that hard to find in their system. But if you are staying in a very high-end hotel, which means there are most likely other foreigners. But in most of cases, if you give them the name that you register through the website or over the phone, they should be able to recognize you very soon. If they can't really find it, all you need to do is show them the confirmation letter or the email on your phone and say this phrase. これが確認書です。Roman G. これが確認書です。Now connect them together. これが確認書です。This is my confirmation slip. This may not be an important procedure during the check-in, but just in case that happens, you can show them your confirmation slip. There are times when I have to check in for an airplane that they ask me for my confirmation slip. So if you know this phrase, you can use it not just at a hotel, you can use them for your personal trip or checking at the airport, other things that where you have received a confirmation email or a letter. And after they found your name and have started to get you through the procedure of checking in, the first thing usually is they will hand you a card where you have to fill in the information. 宿泊カードに 記入してください。The Roman G. 宿泊カードに記入してください。Now connect them together. 宿泊カードに記入してください。Please fill in the registration card. After you fill out the registration card and they made sure that everything is fine and they got your credit card or, you may pay in the end, they will tell you a bit about the hotel, what you expect. For example, if you have breakfast, if they forget to tell you the checkout time, which sometimes they do, this is the phrase you can ask. チェックアウトは何時までですか？ローマ字。チェックアウトは何時までですか？ Now connect them together. チェックアウトは何時までですか？ What time is the checkout? This is important because in Japan, the traditional Japanese onsen or hot spring hotels are usually 10 a.m. And the regular business hotel is about 11 a.m. The high-end hotel or some of the hotels are 12 a.m. I mean the noon. Here are two phrases that you may use in case anything happened. The first one may happen before you arrive at the hotel. Sometimes there might be a flight delay or there might be a traffic jam that you are 2 or 3 hours over your check-in time. And in that case, you are not sure whether the hotel still keep your reservation or not. This is what you can say to them when you call them. 到着が遅くなります。予約をキープしてください。な、ローマ字。到着が遅くなります。予約をキープしてください。Now, connect them together. 到着が遅くなります。予約をキープしてください。I will check in late. Please keep my reservation. This one actually happened quite often in the hotel I worked at. Because the Japanese size rooms are quite small, even if in a high-end hotel, you may still feel it's quite small. So a lot of foreigners who stayed at the hotel I worked at, it's actually a high-end resort hotel, they complain about the rooms is small. They're usually not Japanese, right? So if you do have this kind of concern, you can ask them to switch to a bigger room. もっと大きな部屋はありませんか？ローマ字。もっと大きな部屋はありませんか？ Now, connect them together. もっと大きな部屋はありませんか？ Do you have a bigger room? Section 3 is about the first day of activities. There are phrases that help you to get to the sightseeing spots you want to go, and phrases to help you to get better shopping experience. I also go into details about withdraw money from the ATMs in Japan, so you'll be prepared and have the most fun. Section 3, Lecture 1. Check out the sightseeing spots. この街の見どころを教えてください。ローマ字。この街の見どころを教えてください。Now, connect them together. この街の見どころを教えてください。Please tell me about sightseeing spots in the city or town. This is actually really useful if you want to ask a local person in the area you're staying. Of course, we can find all sorts of amazing places online, but if you were to ask from a local person, he or she may lead you to even a more amazing place that no one knows. So make sure you know how to use this phrase and ask around. The next one. 何かイベントはありますか? Roma G. 何かイベントはありますか? Now connect them together. 何かイベントはありますか? Is there an event happening? Japan is actually very famous for its festival. Although the festival can be somewhat irregular. But if you happen to be there during one of your local festivals, for sure you can get information about the festival. Festival in Japanese is called matsuri. So, if you wanted to ask for the festival matsuri specifically, you can change the ibento, which is event, into matsuri. So, it'll become 何か祭りはありますか? Is there a festival happening around? Now, the next one. この写真の場所はどこですか? Roma G. この写真の場所はどこですか? Now, connect them together. この写真の場所はどこですか? Where can I find the place on this photo? Sometimes you may actually looking for a specific place that you've seen either on Instagram, Pinterest, or YouTube, and you want to show them this specific place so they can tell you how to get there. And this is a phrase to use when you wanted to find the place that you have a photo of. Now, the next one. ここから歩いて行けますか? Roma G. ここから歩いて行けますか? Now, connect them together. ここから歩いて行けますか? Can I walk there? And next one. 日帰りで行ける場所を教えてください。Roma G. 日帰りで行ける場所を教えてください。Now, connect them together. 日帰りで行ける場所を教えてください。Could you recommend some day trips? 日帰り literally means one day returning. この町の郷土料理が食べられる場所を教えてください。Now, the Roma G. この町の郷土料理が食べられる場所を教えてください。Now, connect them together. この町の郷土料理が食べられる場所を教えてください。Can you tell me where I can have some authentic local food in this town? The Japanese here is a bit long, so when you are practicing this sentence, give it more time and be more patient. この町のショッピングエリアはどこですか? Roma G. この町のショッピングエリアはどこですか? Now, connect them together. この町のショッピングエリアはどこですか? Where is the shopping area? As you might have already noticed that some of the Japanese sound are very similar to the English sound. For example, here, ショッピングエリア. It's literally shopping area. The reason being is some of the Japanese words are actually taken from English, but they have their own pronunciation, which is often called the katakana English. これはどこで買えますか? Roma G. これはどこで買えますか? Now connect them together. これはどこで 買えますか? Where can I buy this? Very similar to the photo phrase, this phrase can be used when you have a sample or even a photo of the thing that you wanted to purchase. 買えますか means can I buy? 道順を教えてください。ローマ字。道順を教えてください。Now connect them together. 道順を教えてください。Tell me how to get there. 特産品で珍しいものは何ですか？ローマ字。特産品で珍しいものは何ですか？ Now connect them together. 特産品で珍しいものは何ですか？ What are the unusual souvenirs here? Of course, you can just ask 特産品 which is a souvenir. 特産品は何ですか? What are the souvenirs? But if you want something that's fun, amazing, and unique about this place, you can ask 特産品で珍しいものは何ですか? If you go to a countryside in Japan, you will actually most likely find something that's very unusual. If you ask 特産品で珍しいものは何ですか? You are actually likely to get introduced to some very unusual souvenirs. 試着してもいいですか? ローマ字。試着してもいいですか? Now connect them together. 試着してもいいですか? Can I try this on? Usually it indicates clothes, shoes, pants, that type of thing. 免税品ですか? ローマ字。免税品ですか? Now connect them together. 免税品ですか? Is this tax-free? In the third lecture of this section, I'll go into more details of tax-free items. But now, just know that if you want to make sure that this item you want to purchase is tax-free, this is the sentence you are using. これをください。ローマ字。これをください。Now connect them together. これをください。I will get this. 別々に包んでください。ローマ字。別々に包んでください。Now connect them together. 別々に包んでください。Please wrap them up separately. Japan has a very high standard of service. Usually when you get clothes from their shops, they will wrap it up without you asking them. Say, if you wanted to buy one for yourself and another one for a friend, you need to have them wrapped up separately. And this is the sentence that you can use. Lecture 2, using an ATM machine in Japan. In this lecture, I'll show you how to use the ATM machines in Japan, which are quite convenient. First of all, there are 4 points that you want to make sure of. First one is, make sure their credit card or debit card can be used abroad. Usually, you wanted to get the credit card usable abroad, because credit card will be easier to use than a debit card in Japan for sure. Second, inquire what fees and daily or monthly limits are associated with international withdrawals. Using an ATM in Japan, although the machine itself will have some withdrawal fees associated with it, but if you do not know how much withdrawal fees that you have to pay for your credit card company, then you will be paying a lot. So you wanted to have an idea of how much you are paying so you can prepare yourself better. Either have some cash at hand, or you can just have a little and then come to Japan and withdraw the money. Remember your card's secret 4-digit PIN. Sometimes it might be 6-digit, but usually it's the number that you use to log in. So do remember it. Otherwise, when you are trying to withdraw the money or using the card at the store, it will not go through. And the fourth one is notify your bank that you are going to use your card overseas. And if you do not do this before you tell them that you are using overseas, most of the time they'll put a stop onto it because they will think it's a fraud. Although when you are informing your credit card company that you are going to Japan and you need to use a credit card, it basically equals to informing the bank. But just in case some of the big banks, most of the big banks, the credit card department and the regular banking department are separated. So you want to make sure they both know that you are overseas. Then you'll be able to use your credit card free of stress. I think one thing about Japan is, even though slowly it's getting better, but the credit card is still not a mainstream in Japan. People still prefer using cash. Make sure you have cash at hand. This website provides you with the information on how to use the ATM. Here are the procedures, and I will go through them one by one. First one is insert the card. The machine is usually located at the back of a convenience store, beside a photocopy machine. And usually beside the photocopy machine, you'll see the magazine stand. So it's actually not hard to find. Once you find the ATM, all you need to do is get your credit card out and insert it. If you have the chips, remember you insert the chips inside. After you insert the card, you'll have the screen to choose from. They'll ask you which language you prefer. And once you click on English, they will have something like, welcome to use a 7-Eleven ATM, something like that. And they'll show you a withdrawal or a balance inquiry. Usually, you click on the withdrawal. Depends on what kind of card you're using. With a credit card, it's usually the credit. But if you are using a debit card, you can choose either saving or checking. Once you select which account to use, you will enter your PIN number. Here, it can be 4 digits or 6 digits, depending on which country you're from and your bank. Once it goes through, you'll see this screen. It shows 1,000 yen, 10,000 yen, 20,000, 30, 50, and 100 yen. The 10,000 yen is basically about $10. So as you can see, 100,000 yen, get rid of 20 at the end, you'll get $1,000. This is the maximum limit you can withdraw from a 7-Eleven bank ATM machine. And once you select the amount of the money you want to withdraw, basically just click on the amount. If you have something like, let's say, $60,000, you can choose the other amount and put 60,000 yen in it. Remember, it's always yen. And once you click the number and it goes through, it'll show you something like this. With this, you will see a receipt and cash and your card. If you go through the whole process without any problem, then it means it went successfully. But if there's a problem, let's say with your PIN number, automatically it'll reject you here. Or if you exceed the amount that you can withdraw, then it'll reject you again. What you do is basically get the card in and choose a different amount when you're at this process next time you're withdrawing the money. The link to this website is in your resource section. So feel free to check them out and learn how to use the ATM machines in Japan. Good luck! Lecture 3, Tax-Free Shopping. This is a logo for the tax-free shop. make sure that you see the logo before you go into the store. Because if they don't have this logo, doesn't matter what you buy or how much you buy. It is not tax-free. Here are the 4 important rules that you need to know before you purchase your tax-free items. The first one is the consumption tax is about 10%. Sometimes they're 8%, but usually 10% for merchandise. Which means if you want to do tax-free, it's about 10% that you do not have to pay. And the exempt price can be made at the purchase, which means when you are paying for the merchandise, the price they show you at the final is actually tax-free. After you got the receipt and the merchandise, first of all, don't throw away the receipt because you may show them to the officers at the airport in order to get out of Japan. And the merchandise, don't open them. I'm pretty sure the staff will tell you do not open them because tax-free items are considered to be used outside of Japan. They are a certain amount that you have to meet in order to get the items tax-free. And that's usually 5,000 yen or more, depending on where you're going. The last one is actually quite important. It only applies for foreigners with a temporary visa. I have a working visa in Japan, which allows me to stay in Japan for years. But I cannot do the tax-free because I'm considered a citizen in the area I live. So technically, I'm not tax-free citizen. If you come to Japan as a student or a working personnel, you may not be able to buy tax-free items. That's a downside about it. But the good side is, you stay in Japan longer, you can enjoy the benefits better. Here are some phrases I have listed that you can use when you make a tax-free purchase. First one. 免税の手続きをしたいんです。ローマ字。免税の手続きをしたいです。Connect them together. 免税の手続きをしたいです。I want to purchase this as a tax-exempt product. For some foreigners, it's obvious that you don't look Japanese, but for some, you may not look that different from Japanese. So if you just go to the counter and make the purchase, they will think you are Japanese until you tell them, excuse me, I want to purchase them as tax-free products. 免税の手続きをしたいんです。If you tell them this, then they will ask you to show the passport and things like that. パスポートを見せていただけますか？ローマ字。パスポートを見せていただけますか？ So connect them together. パスポートを見せていただけますか？ Can I see your passport? The reason they want to see your passport are two. First, they want to make sure you have the temporary visitor visa. Second is they need to stamp something on your page. Some of the stores don't do it on the passport, but some places do. So it really depends on where you go. But if you do not have them stamped on your passport, you can always tell them. 日本を出る前にパッケージを開けてはいけません。ローマ字。日本を出る前にパッケージを開けてはいけません。Now connect them together. 日本を出る前にパッケージを開けてはいけません。You cannot open the package before you leave Japan. レシートを保存してください。ローマ字。レシートを保存してください。Connect them together. レシートを保存してください。Please keep your receipts. I have included the link to the Japanese tax-free information that you can check out. It's in English, so make sure you check them out before you are making your tax-free purchase. Lecture 4. Supermarkets and convenience stores. In this lecture, I'll show you what are the things you can purchase at the supermarket or a convenience store. To be honest, the items are very similar. But in a supermarket, as you can see, the fresh food and then ready-to-eat food, basically cooked food, they have more varieties. Like fresh food, they have different types of vegetable or different types of fruits that you can really try. Of course, they have snacks, frozen food, everyday supplies, for example, like a toothbrush, paper towels, shampoo, stuff like that. Pet food in some of the stores, and alcohols. Supermarket is actually one of my favorite places to go to whenever I go to a new place in Japan. Because first of all, I get a sense of what the local eat. And second, if I decide to stay in the hotel for a bit and don't go outside, I can basically just buy those food and put them in the fridge and then find for the next day. The services you should see in the supermarket are dry cleaning, delivery service, and photocopying. Dry cleaning is very useful. Let's say if you're here for a conference and on the first day you have this suit, so you can just give it to the dry cleaning service in the supermarket. And usually they will have it done in a week, but just make sure. Delivery service, what I meant by delivery service is, for example, if you purchased some amazing food or amazing items in Japan that you want to send back to your home or friend in other parts of Japan, you can do this at the supermarket. All you need to do is purchase their box, write down where you're sending it to, and have them mail it for you. Photocopying, they just have a photocopy machine that you can use. In a regular convenience store, as I mentioned before, convenience stores are usually Family Marts, Lawson, 7-Eleven, Daily News, that kind of thing. But they are very, very similar. Convenience store and supermarkets are also similar, as you can tell. The only thing that they may not have is the pet food. Convenience stores are usually probably 1/5 of the size of a supermarket. So as you can imagine, the food variety is not that great, but they're very convenient. Things like a small package of makeup or small package of makeup removers that you can just use for a couple days for a short trip, you purchase them at the convenience store. Usually they don't have it in the supermarket. Convenience store is also great for ready-to-eat food. Services in a convenience store are also quite similar to the supermarket, but they don't have dry cleaning service. However, most of them have mail and delivery service. The same idea as I mentioned in the supermarket. You have something that you want to send out and you just bring it with you to the convenience store. Usually there are two most used delivery services in Japan. One is the Japan Post. The other one is Kuroneko Yamato. They're both very popular. Of course, there are other very popular ones, but these two are the big ones. Depending on which convenience store you use, they have different service. Sometimes you may mail through the Japan Post. Sometimes you may mail through the Kuroneko Yamato, which is called the Takyubin, delivered to your house sort of service. In terms of the speed and then the content of the service, it's not that different, but the price might be different. If you're sending it out a far place, like overseas and that, you wanted to make sure you can use this service allow you to do so. So you wanted to go on their website, like type in Japan Post or Kuroneko Yamato and find whether your country or the place you are sending is listed there or not. Here are the phrases that you can use at both a supermarket and a convenience store. Something を探していますが Roman G. Something を探していますが So connect them together. Something を 探していますが I'm looking for something. Here is the phrase that you will be likely asked at the end when you purchase the item. 袋はいかがですか? ローマ字。袋はいかがですか? Connect them together. 袋はいかがですか? Do you need a bag? Before 2020 July, bags in supermarkets were free, as well as convenience store. But now, they are charging you for the bag, the plastic bags. So it became a regular thing that they will ask you at the counter, do you need a bag or not? Usually they're about like 2 cents, 3 cents, or 5 cents. But if you don't need them, tell them no. いいえ. But if you do, tell them yes. はい。お箸 or スプーンをお付けしましょうか? Now the Romaji. お箸 or スプーンをお付けしましょうか? Now connect them together. お箸 or スプーンをお付けしましょうか? Do you need a pair of chopsticks or a spoon? If you are buying the ready-to-eat food, especially at the convenience store, for sure they will ask you whether you need a pair of chopsticks or a spoon to go with. In a supermarket, usually they don't ask you about ohashi, which is chopsticks, but they will ask you for a spoon, puddings or ice cream that you got. But just make sure if you do need ohashi, chopsticks, or spoons at any of the location, you can ask them, お箸お願いします. Please give me some chopsticks. スプーンをお願いします. Please give me the spoon. 温めますか? ローマ字。温めますか? Now connect them together. 温めますか? Do you want me to heat it up? Usually means microwave in this case. This is a phrase to be heard in a convenience store. Oftentimes, I would buy food in convenience store because I don't eat that much. And they often ask me whether I wanted it to be heated up or not. So if you hear this phrase, 温めますか? It means, do you want me to microwave this right now for you? And you can say yes or no. Section 4 is about finding a restaurant and taking Shinkansen. Beside the phrases, I have provided you with useful resources that help you to find a great restaurant and find very affordable Shinkansen tickets even before you arrive in Japan. So, have a look. Lecture 1. Dining at a delicious restaurant. Since this whole lecture is about finding your way in Japan, I have included phrases in helping you to find the restaurant. If you want more information on how to talk to the people at the restaurant, I have a resource for you at the end of the lecture. Now, the first phrase. Something 料理のお店はありますか? The Romaji. Something 料理のお店はありますか? Now connect them together. Something 料理のお店はありますか? Do you have a specific cuisine restaurant nearby? The something here is a type of food you want to try. Here, I have a list of the common cuisines you see in Japan. First, of course, the Japanese food, Japanese cuisine. 日本料理. Nihon is Japan. 料理 is food, so Japanese food. Italian 料理. Italian, so Italian food. Italian food is actually quite popular in Japan, especially pasta and pizza. So don't be surprised if you find a lot of Italian restaurants nearby. 中華 Chinese restaurant. インド料理 Indo, India. Indian 料理 Indian food. With the Indian food, most likely you'll find curry, and sometimes it's not indicated as Indian food, but they will indicate curry house or curry, stuff like that. So once you see a curry, most likely you'll get the Indian food or the Thai curry. Western 料理 Western food. Western, literally Western. Cafe. Cafe. The other thing about the Japanese restaurant you might be surprised is even though some of the restaurants are labeled cafe, it's actually a restaurant, more like a fast food type of restaurant. At the cafe/restaurant place, you will usually find homemade Japanese food or very easy sandwich, salad type of Western food. Here, I have 2 websites for you to choose from when you are in Japan looking for delicious food. Of course, you can ask around, hey, what are the good food around here? But if you're in a big city, the chances are the people you're asking are not from where you live. Or they usually just go to those very general restaurants. And of course, being in the big city, the idea is there's so many restaurants. There are always open new restaurants. You don't know which one's good. Website is the best way to help you to find them. Of course, if you do a Google map research with a restaurant, you'll see a list of restaurants, but it doesn't really have a great list as those websites I'm about to show you. Reason being is the function of the Google Map restaurant are new. And these websites existed a long time ago. So basically they have added up and been polished throughout the years. And primarily their information were in Japanese. So it's considered better in general. Now, I'll show you how to use the website. This is the website of Tabeburo in English. As you can see that on the top, there are options like English, Mandarin, Korean, and Japanese. So if one of them is easier for you to use, you can click on them. There are 2 ways to choose a restaurant. One is by looking through the area. The other one is to look through the type of food you want to eat. For example, we are going to Hokkaido. And here are their number 3 and what attractions you can find, stuff like that. Hokkaido restaurant ranking. It also shows where they're located. This is what the English looks like. And as you can see here, it shows you on average what the price are, how many stars they have, the reviews, what type of food they have, tempura. And here, credit card. It means you can use a credit card there. This might be quite important for you. Once you click on the place, you'll see the details of what they have and what people said about it. Most of the information are in Japanese, like those type of information. But don't worry too much about it. You can always use Google Translate. But this website gives you an idea of what you can expect. The other thing about Tabeburo is it's quite different than the Japanese one. The Japanese has an app that you can download. And to be honest, I personally prefer the Japanese because I feel like there's more restaurants. Let's go to the same thing, Hokkaido. That's the one we chose. And you see, they have way more defined sections. So there are the areas in Hokkaido. Sapporo, that's the main city in Hokkaido. Similar things, they have the top 3. And as you can see, remember, we didn't really have that many restaurants. The other thing is, I really suggest you to look through the Japanese information. Even though I know that you can't read the Japanese, there are 2 ways you can do it. Google Translate or look at the photo and click on it. Once you click on it, all you can do is the last one. It says coupon and map. Click the first one. well, it shows you the coupon and expiring date, stuff like that. You see, those type of information are not available in English, but it shows where they are. So you can copy paste this on Google Map and read the English, or you can take a look at where they are. If they're close to you, definitely give it a visit. The second website is called Hitosara. Compared to the Tabeburo, this one is targeted at more of a high-end cuisines. So they do focus on introducing the chef, introducing the stories of the restaurant, and really show you polished photos. So as you may expect, food from Hitosara are more of like hotel, high-end restaurant, nice environment sort of thing. Let's say if you are going to Japan with your fiance or very important people, it's actually great once in a while to dine out at those high-end restaurants in Japan, because then you can compare the high-end service quality to the average quality. I assure you there is a difference. Hitosara is a Japanese version. There is a website called Savor Japan, which the same company produced. Savor Japan is targeted towards the foreigners. So I will have both of the links in the resources. If you want to take a look at the Japanese, then click on the Hitosara. If you wanted to take a look at the English, which is Savor Japan, just click on that link. But in general, I'll show you what Savor Japan looks like. Now, I want to show you the website called Savor Japan. This is a website created by the same company that created Hitosara, more of a high-end restaurant. More of a high-end restaurant search engine. As you can see, it looks like a high-end magazine, so expect the price to be higher, but also better service and more of delicate cuisine. Now let's take a look at the Savor Japan. The same thing, you can read the stories featuring different type of food or the restaurant, or you can find them with the location. Let's stay with the Hokkaido area. And here you have the type of food as well as the smaller cities in Hokkaido. Earlier we had Sapporo, so we're gonna do Sapporo. And this is what it looks like. Compared to the Tabeburo, almost everything is translated into English, so it's quite easy to read. It also says English menu, English speaking staff are available. This might be a very important piece for you. The good thing about Hitosara is it's quite easy to reserve. Let's say we click on the reservation and, add a credit card, stuff like that. If you don't want to do it this way, you can always just go to the restaurant. Now let's take a look at the Japanese website. Once again, the Japanese website has way more information. For example, here, I know you can't read it, but I'll let you know. This one, restaurant recommended for dating spots. Restaurant recommended for anniversaries. Restaurant recommended for treating your guests, stuff like that. So they are divided into very specific sections. Also, there are blog articles you can read, so it's quite cool. You can really give it a try once you master Japanese, because I think that you will find this website quite intricate. As I mentioned before, that this course really focuses on how to look for the restaurant. There is another course that I created called Delicious Japanese Language for Foodies. This one is slightly harder than the one you're taking because I didn't have Romaji in the course. However, this course provided you with a lot of phrases. Since you are on my mailing list, from time to time, I'll email you the discount of my courses. So once you see those discounts, take the chance and grab this one. In the Delicious Japanese Language course, not only I show you how to order food, how to talk to people in the restaurant, I also show you how to cook your own Japanese food by reading from an authentic Japanese cooking website. Lecture 2. Shinkansen. Shinkansen is a bullet train in Japan. In this lecture, I'll show you how to get the ticket and what are the good ways you can get a ticket as a foreigner. First of all, this is what a Shinkansen ticket looks like. Basically, it's like a light green with a green line. You usually will get 2 tickets when you buy one Shinkansen trip. The first one is the base fare. It really shows where you are going from A to B. And then there is a Shinkansen supplement, also called the limited express fee. This fee increases stepwise according to the distance traveled. The express supplement is issued as a limited express fee ticket. And when you go through the machine, you put both of them in. If you are taking Shinkansen with the reserved seats, there is a seat reservation fee. It doesn't mean you'll get 3 tickets, but this fee will be included on one of the other ticket. And the seat reservation fee really vary depending on the season and also what class you booked. So for example, there's the regular section where you pay the regular seat reservation fees. There are also something called the green card fee. The green card fee is higher than the average seat reservation fees. So how do you get the ticket? There is a place called Midori no Madoguchi. Translated into English, literally it means the green window. It is a place where you purchase the ticket either by talking to a person or a machine. Usually the machine are either right outside this area or inside this area. If you find it's very confusing to get the ticket, since it's the first time you are ever in Japan, I suggest you to line up to get the ticket at the service counter where you can talk to the staff. And some of them can speak English. But if you're in a major city, most of them, I'm pretty sure they can speak English. The machine is good to use if you're in a hurry or if you're really used to the Japanese systems. I usually like to do the machine because it's 2 minutes for me to get everything done, then line up and talk to the people. But if you wanted to make sure this is where you go, or you want to buy additional tickets, let's say you are going to the place close to Tokyo and you're wondering whether you can get the ticket for the whole trip, then getting off at Tokyo and buy the tickets again. If you're not sure how to do that on the machine, you can talk to the person. Credit cards are accepted at most ticket office, so don't worry about it. And with my past experience, I find it's easier to use a credit card with a person than the machine. There are sometimes the machine don't recognize the credit cards, depending on where it's issued and the system of the credit card itself. So when I paid with my credit card, usually I will go to the person. But if I'm paying either online or with cash, I usually go with the machine. When you are purchasing a ticket, a number of travelers, date of travel, departure station, destination station, ordinary or green card, which is the more expensive section of the Shinkansen, that type of information is needed, and reserved or non-reserved seat. The difference between reserved and non-reserved, first, it's the price. Second, with a non-reserved ticket, you actually get the day ticket, which means you can catch the 12 o'clock train or 2 p.m. train or 7 p.m. train. It doesn't matter. And for the non-reserved sections, let's say it's section 1 to 5. So as long as you're staying in the section 1 to 5 zone, you are able to get on the train. This is quite flexible if you do not know how exactly your schedule will be like. Reserved is quite rigid because you have to get on the train at a specific time at the specific platform in the specific section and find the specific seat. Well, the good thing about reserved ticket is you are guaranteed for a seat. For non-reserved, sometimes you have to stand. But in most cases, if you're traveling during the daytimes and avoiding the traffic, usually the non-reserved is good enough. Here is the website you can use to purchase a ticket. It's called Ekineto. Unfortunately, it's all in Japanese, but if you have the help of the friends before you come to Japan, I really suggest you to use this website. Later on, I'll introduce you to the JR Pass, but for now, let me just talk about the Ekineto. Ekineto is good for you to reserve tickets a month ahead. And if you know for sure, let's say, I wanted to go to Osaka on this day, either you can get a non-reserved or reserved, you can find the tickets on Ekineto. If you are buying in advance, most likely you'll see the discounts. They are 10% discount, 20% discount, 35% discount. And usually they work for the major Shinkansen. Most likely if you're using the Tokyo, you will have the discount option. This is great if you can plan your trip ahead. If you are planning to use Shinkansen once or twice, I really suggest you to use Ekineto because that will make a huge difference in the price. The other thing about this is it's all credit card, so you can make the transaction regardless where you are. The other thing is JR Pass. There are some restrictions about JR Pass. The first one is actually very similar to the tax-free rule that it can only be used for foreigners who are visiting Japan on a temporary visiting visa. And it's preferred that you purchase JR Pass before you arrive in Japan. If you are living in major cities outside Japan, most likely they have some Japanese traveling agencies that you can look for. HIS is one of the biggest. They have over 100 locations throughout the world. So if you Google HIS and put in the name of your city, you will find their office. If there is one, you can just go visit them or give them a call and tell them, I want to get a JR Pass. It's good if you are planning to use JR Railway a lot. Because I believe the fee is about $300. And let's say, for using the train, the Shinkansen ones, you are usually, if it's a 90 minutes trip, you are paying around $100 one way. And if you are doing a round trip, that's $200 or less, most likely less, if you order through the Ekineto or you got the non-reserved. So if you're just thinking about going to one major city throughout your whole trip, I think it's better to purchase the ticket at the Ekineto because overall it's cheaper. And the JR train, to be honest, JR train, they do have this regular railway, but most likely you'll find them in the major city. If you are in a countryside and you wanted to really spend a few days in the countryside, you probably won't have the JR train. They will have their local train. So the JR Pass does not apply there. This is something you wanted to make sure of before you go on the trip. So the best thing to do is talk to the agency, the traveling agency. Sometimes the non-Japanese agency also sell the ticket. And, find those stuff where you can really have an authentic conversation and tell them where you are planning to go to and sort of give them an idea of what your trip will be like. Then you can do a rough calculation and make a judgment on which one's cheaper or which one is more convenient for you. At the resource section, I have provided the link to the JR Pass. You can take a look and make decisions later on. Lecture 1, Natural Disasters. Here's the first slide. 火事です。ローマ字、火事です。Connect them together. 火事です。Fire. 外へ出てください。ローマ字、外へ出てください。Connect them together. 外へ 出てください。Go outside. 急いで。Roma G. 急いで。Connecting together. 急いで。Hurry. タオルを口と鼻の上に。Roma G. タオルを口と鼻の上に。Connecting together. タオルを口と鼻の上に。Use a towel to cover your mouth and nose. 非常口。Roma G. 非常口。Connecting together. 非常口。Emergency exit. みんないますか？ Roma G. みんないますか？ Connecting together. みんないますか？ Is everyone here? 地震が来ます。Roma G. 地震が来ます。Connecting together. 地震が来ます。Earthquake is coming. 大きい津波が来るかもしれません。Roma G. 大きい津波が来るかもしれません。Connecting together. 大きい津波が来るかもしれません。There might be a big tsunami. 逃げましょう。Roma G. 逃げましょう。Connecting together. 逃げましょう。Let's run. ここは危ないです。Roma G. ここは危ないです。Connecting together. ここは危ないんです。It's dangerous here. 安全な場所へ行きましょう。Roma G. 安全な場所へ行きましょう。Connecting together. 安全な場所へ行きましょう。Let's go to a safe place. Here's a slide of the regular natural disaster you may encounter in Japan beside the earthquake. I'll read one by one from the top to the bottom. 洪水警報 Once again. 洪水警報 Flood warning. 土砂崩れ Once again. 土砂崩れ Mudslide. 雷雨 Again. 雷雨 Thunderstorm. 波浪警報 Again. 波浪警報 High wave warning. 火山噴火 Again. 火山噴火 Volcanic eruption. 雪崩 Again. 雪崩 Avalanche. 大雪 Again. 大雪 Heavy snow. In Japan, if there is a natural disaster strike, usually there will be an alarming message popping up from a Japanese phone. And you may hear this around you. For example, it may say, 地震です. There's an earthquake. どこどこです at some place. Lecture 2. Check out at the hotel. チェックアウトをお願いします。Roma G. チェックアウトを お願いします。Connect them together. チェックアウトをお願いします。I would like to check out. 荷物を something 字まで預かってもいいですか？ローマ字。荷物を something 字まで預かってもいいですか？ So connect them together. 荷物を something 字まで預かってもいいですか？ Can you keep the luggage for me till number o'clock? So for example, you are checking out at 11 a.m. but you need them to keep the bag for you till 2 p.m. So this is what you can say. 荷物を午後2時まで預かってもいいですか？ In the next slide, I'll teach you how to say the number and a.m. and p.m. First of all, I'll go through the numbers. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. With the numbers, some words actually have multiple readings. For example, the number 4 here, I have 용 as the reading. However, it can be also read as 요 or 시. With time, you would often hear 요지, 4 o'clock. And for the number 7, 시치, it can also be read as 나나. But with time, you would often hear 시치지, 7 o'clock. As well as for number 9, I have ku here, but it can be also read as q. But with the time, usually you will hear kuji. How do you indicate the AM and PM? AM is 고zen, PM is 고고. So let's say, how do you say 5 p.m.? 고고, 고지. Let's say, how do you say 7 a.m.? 고zen 7時. The next slide. ミニバーの利用はありません。ローマ字。ミニバーの利用はありません。Connect them together. ミニバーの利用はありません。I didn't use the mini bar. チェックアウトの時間を延長できますか？ローマ字。チェックアウトの時間を延長できますか？ Connect them together. チェックアウトの時間を延長できますか？ Can I extend the checkout time? 空港までどうやって行きますか？ローマ字。空港までどうやって行きますか？ Connect them together. 空港までどうやって行きますか？ How to get to the airport. Now, lecture 3 is about getting on the airplane. Here are the phrases. 窓と通路側どちらにしますか？ローマ字。窓と通路側どちらにしますか？ Connect them together. 窓と通路側どちらにしますか？ Window seat or aisle seat. これは機内に持ち込めますか？ローマ字。これは機内に 持ち込めますか Connect them together. これは機内に持ち込めますか Can I take this onto the airplane? これを預けます。ローマ字。これを預けます。Connect them together. これを預けます。I would like to check this. Here are the words you would often see regarding getting on the airplane. I'll go through them one by one from the top to the bottom. 機内持ち込み手荷物 carry-on luggage 預け入れ手荷物 checked luggage 搭乗券 boarding pass 目的地 destination 搭乗口 boarding gate 壊れやすいもの fragile items 液体 liquids. Welcome to the first bonus lecture of section 6. Here, I'll go through the pronunciation in Romaji with you. This is a chart called katakana chart, but if you pay close attention, you'll see here are the alphabets. The alphabets are the ones we will pay attention to. I'll go through the pronunciation one by one, and feel free to repeat after me. I'll start from the right to the left, top to the bottom. A, I, U, E, O, Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, Ko, Sa, Shi, Su, Se, So, Ta, Shi, Su, Te, To, Na, Ni, Nu, Ne, No, Ha, Hi, Hu, He, Ho, Ma, Mi, Mu, Me, Mo, Ya, Yu, Yo, Da, Li, Lu, Le, Lo, Wa, O, W. Japanese are in general made by 5 basic vowel sounds, which is the first one here. A, I, U, E, O. The rest of the sound in Japanese are basically a combination of a consonant or 2 characters combined together. If you want to go in details with the pronunciation, I suggest you to find my free course called Japanese Hinagana and Katakana in 2 months or less. In this course, I went through all the pronunciations in both Hinagana and Katakana and talked a bit about Romaji. If you wanted to take this lesson very seriously, I suggest you to get this free course. Because in the end, I also presented a very fun game if you really commit to it and do it every day. I'm pretty sure you will be able to master the pronunciation, the readings, and the writing perhaps in 2 months or less. This is the second lecture in section 6. It's all about COVID-19 phrases. 味覚 or 嗅覚異常 味覚 is taste bud. 嗅覚 is olfactory. 異常 means unusual. When you lose a sense of smell, usually it's 嗅覚異常, the second one. But if you want to say a loss of taste, it will be 味覚異常. Here is a word for headache. 頭痛 Romaji. 頭痛 Connect them together. 頭痛 Fever or high temperature. 発熱 I'll go over again. 発熱 Here are the words for body aches and fatigue. 体の痛み the body aches. I'll go over it again. 体の痛み fatigue. だるさ だるさ Here are 3 words. The first one is cough. 咳 咳 The second one is shortness of breath. 息切れ息切れ A third one is difficulty breathing. 呼吸困難呼吸困難 The first word is 手洗い hand washing. 手洗い A second one is gargling throat. うがいうがい Third one is disinfection. 消毒消毒 You may see disinfection liquid like the ones you use to wash your hand. That would be 消毒液消毒液 Eki is liquid. Here is a sentence for wearing a mask when you go out. 外に出るときはマスクをする。ローマ字。外に出るときはマスクをする。Connect them together. 外に出るときはマスクをする。Here is a phrase for avoid unnecessary trips. 不要不急の外出は控える。ローマ字。不要不急の外出は控える。Now connect them together. 不要不急の外出は控える。Here is self-restraint. 自粛する。ローマ字。自粛する。Connect them together. 自粛する。In Japan, there are various measures taken regarding the COVID-19 outbreak. As you can tell from the slides, wearing a mask is almost like a daily task that people do. But it is not forced. Hence, we have the words 自粛する, which means self-restraint. You'll see the words 自粛 in a lot of areas when you come to Japan during the COVID-19 time. It acts as a rule, but not enforced as a rule. So there is still some freedom, but better to wear a mask in Japan. Alright, this is the end of the course. I hope you have learned new phrases and feel more comfortable with the beginner Japanese. Feel free to leave any comments or ask me any questions during the class or after the class. I'm always here to help. And I gratefully asked you to leave a rating above, so I know how this course went for you and what to improve on for the future courses. Alright, thank you so much again, and good luck!